You know, we live in a day and age where not often, at least for me personally, am I sitting there watching something and you've never seen it before. You usually know when there's a trailer coming. You usually know, X posters arriving on whatever date, X teasers arriving on whatever date. This person's going to be on that show. Not often anymore are you watching something and you see something for the first time and you go, oh, well, I'm fucking fully in. This looks awesome. And today, I can't remember what we were watching exactly, but it's like in between. I think it was a YouTube ad. But anyway, the trailer for Trap.
Oh,
with Josh Hartnett.
Yeah.
And I've never heard of it. Okay, my ear's not been to the ground with just normal things. I'm on the lookout for things that I'm invested in. Usually, hate to say it, but like nostalgia-driven things, right? Nothing wrong with that. And I watched the trailer, and being a kid who grew up just outside of Toronto, I'm seeing Toronto all over the trailer. I'm seeing the Rogers Center, what most people know as Sky Dome.
Yeah.
So like immediately I'm kind of like intrigued. It's like, okay, well, let's give it a shot. And I don't mind Josh Hartnett. And dude, the concept of it, the execution of the trailer, how the hell would he ever get out of that predicament? Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I don't know if you've had a chance to see the trailer yet, but I was actually blown away because like I had no idea it was coming. And honestly, I think Josh Hartnett gets maybe not a bad rap, but I don't know if he gets the credit he deserves for how good of an actor he is.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I heard Trap was kind of on the way. I had no idea trailer was coming out. Didn't see it yet today, but as far as I knew about the movie. I knew about Josh Hartnett, and all of the reception I've seen so far has been pretty positive. So, after tonight's show, I will definitely be checking that trailer out and getting a better idea. And then, I'll be able to give, my thoughts and judgment probably sometime next week.
Wait, so have you not seen the trailer yet?
I did not. I was busy. Yeah.
I did not catch that part. Well, you know what? If you're down for it, we can do a sort of a trailer reaction right now. And as long as one of us talks every 15, 20 seconds, we shouldn't get taken down. I see 15 million views already on just the one video here.
Oh, wow.
Is very good for a small movie.
Yeah.
At least I think it's small. Again, I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, I haven't heard much. Like I said, besides the title, I think it's horror related, and Josh Hartnett's in it. So this is kind of new to me.
All right, well let's give this thing a watch. We'll try to keep the talking to the minimum just so we don't get taken down.
Yeah.
Put your hands together for Lady Raven.
Wait. I got time on you.
No, Dad jokes. This is serious. Come on.
I'm sorry. Lady Raven.
I'm telling Jade that
Thank you.
that this wasn't in Toronto. In the street they showed right out of the gate was one we've driven down.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Oh, okay. I've heard a little about this with the whole stage show, and they're at the concert.
Yeah. I'd heard none. I didn't know this was coming, and
yeah,
I think I was already like intrigued by it though, because when the trailer started, Jade had paused. I think actually, Jade, did you make me watch this, or did we watch it by accident? Okay, she made me watch it after we were done watching something. Josh Hartnett, H2O, obviously. So I had a little bit of context what it was about. Where us watching the trailer so far don't have much at the moment, but see what it gives us.
Yeah.
I gotta go to the bathroom. I can leave you here in the seat.
I'm good, Dad.
Jamie, what's with all the police trucks outside? The cameras everywhere, Jamie. I'm not supposed to tell. Something happening? Don't rat me out. I won't. You know the butcher? The freaking nut job that goes around just chopping people up? The feds or whatever heard that he's gonna be here today. So they set up a trap for him. This whole concert, it's a trap. They're watching all the exits. They're checking everyone that leaves. There's no way to get out of here.
Okay, so before going any further,
Mhm.
now that you find that part out,
Yeah.
are you at least hooked at the possibility of, well, how the hell does this guy get out of here? If he gets
Yeah.
out, because I don't know.
I like the concept. It reminds me of third act of The Fan from back in the day with De Niro and Wesley Snipes. If
Great movie with the
yeah,
kid.
yeah, kid gets kidnapped and all, and he holds him hostage, and he's at the game and all that. So very reminiscent of something like that. So I like that atmosphere of like you have this big event going on, you have a possible killer on the loose, and you know, you have law enforcement trying to track him down and catch him, and here you have a whole concert set up as an initial trap. So yeah, this has me, you know, it definitely intrigued.
I see them.
Somebody help me!
Dad. Dad. Dad.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Riley. What was that?
Never ready for it. Let myself in your day.
It looks like it's shot very well.
yeah.
It feels very cinematic. It doesn't,
Mhm.
even though I said this is a small movie, and I do think this is probably a small production. I don't know. I'm gonna have to dive into it, but it looks good in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say so. Even if it's smaller, whatever equipment they're using, probably top-notch cameras. So they use their budget, you know, wisely in the equipment department. So even if it is a smaller movie, you still get a good production quality.
Also, I always like being in the POV of the bad guy.
Oh yeah,
It doesn't happen enough in terms
Right.
of like movies and television, and people are always looking for new things to do. And while it might not be the newest thing to do, we still see far less of that than the alternative.
oh yeah, yeah. Love a good POV.
Your daughter's never
What's an
gonna
M.
forget
Night
this
movie?
day.
You're kind of dope, right?
Yeah, sign me up. I'm in.
Yeah, you know, I wasn't even on the radar for me, and
Mhm.
yeah, so I'm intrigued. There you have it, Trap, an M. Night movie. His has been hit or miss for a while. Looked like he was making a bit of a surge in
Mhm.
recent years, or a resurge, if you will. I know people weren't. What was the one he did with with James McAvoy?
Is that his newest, like his most recent project, or one of? Is it Knock at the Cabin?
No.
no?
I'm talking
Okay.
Split.
Ah, okay.
So I liked Split.
Mhm.
I thought Split was very, very good. I never got a chance to see Glass,
Mhm.
which I suppose is probably one of Bruce Willis's last flicks.
Mhm.
But I didn't hear very good things about it from people.
Yeah.
So I believe those are M. Night movies. I could be way off here, but I'm pretty sure those are M. Night movies.
Maybe. I always get them mixed up. I know there's a trilogy. It's what is it? Unbreakable, Glass, and Split.
Yeah.
All three. Yeah. That's a trilogy I have not seen. So add it to the to-do list.
So I never had an opportunity to see. Yeah, it's an M. Night movie, M. Night trilogy. I never seen Unbreakable, so I didn't have any attachment there.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing the marketing for Split and being blown away by it. And we didn't get to see it until much after the fact. We didn't see it in theaters or anything. And it's a really good movie.
Okay.
So it's definitely worth watching.
Nice.
I'm not saying it's a cinematic masterpiece in terms of the way it's shot or anything, but McAvoy's performance in it is wow.
Okay.
But there you have it. That's Trap, Josh Hartnett, M. Night this August. And this is Tonight in Haddonfield. Welcome back to another episode of Tonight in Haddonfield. I'm Sean, joined by Dean, and we're going to be giving some Halloween TV series predictions. These are early predictions, and based off of just what we hear and what we might think is most likely to happen, based off of what goes on in Hollywood and shit like that, or at least what we think goes on in Hollywood. Dean, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty well. Had a busy work weekend. Had yesterday to finally catch up on rest and get ready for tonight. And over the weekend, I finally got a delivery in that I've been waiting on and anticipating. Something that you and I have talked about here quite a while back, and they have finally arrived. So strap in for show, share, and slash tonight because I have a double feature of brand new releases. Oh, I think you're muted, Sean.
Might they have something to do with a friend of the show?
They might. They definitely might.
Nice. Nice. Looking forward to it. Actually, I gotta reach back out to that said friend, and then we can get on here and discuss another one of his lost sequels.
Yeah, for sure.
A hint for people. Anyways, dude, excited to talk Halloween. There's not a ton of horror news the last week, like the last few weeks has been. I would say it was an average week. Not that like it was dead, but lately it seems like we've been getting so much horror news in the early stages of the year, which is cool because it gives you something to be excited for. But I like it spread out a bit. I like to try to avoid the lull periods.
Yeah. It's a little hectic when it's overload because there's so much to cover, but the quiet periods, they kind of now you start scratching around to find what you can just to give yourself something to discuss here with the audience. So it's been a little light, but I imagine in the coming weeks it'll pick back up.
Speaking of something to discuss with the audience, right out of the gate tonight, we have an announcement to make. So I guess, it's not like this has been some great big scheme. you might have caught on the last couple of weeks. We've specifically last week randomly talked a lot about the Terminator, which got Dean and I talking about the Terminator and how we might be able to do something with the Terminator. And there's just so many interesting discussion points behind it. Is it just science fiction? Is it science fiction and horror? T1 versus T2 or any of the other sequels worth anything? There's just so much intrigue around the franchise, in my opinion, even today, that we thought we would come on tonight in Haddonfield and discuss the movie after recently watching it. And now and then we'll do some watch parties. But instead, what we've decided to do, and this won't be every Monday, it might be every other Monday. We might do 3 Mondays in a row and then take a couple Mondays off. But instead of only having the usual 45 to 60 minutes that you have us for, you'll have us for like 90 to 100, except for we're going to take like a 5 or 10 minute break after the normal Tonight in Haddonfield and come back with our new show here that we're going to do. And that's Real Flicks with Dean and I. It's a little bit inspired by our previous attempt at Flixbusters with Zach Arnold, hosted by PC and the Legacy of Westeros. But I love talking movies. I love watching movies. I love the idea that Jade and I can watch a bunch of these, and then I can come on, argue guys, and mute that we can come on here and discuss them, whether they're new or old. Not to say they'll always be old, because they won't be. But we're going to start next week off with The Terminator, which means sometime in the next week, Dean and I are going to sit down and watch The Terminator. And to be transparent with you all, films 2, 3, and 4 will be Terminator 2, 3, and 4. And then we'll figure out where we go from there. But here's how it's going to work is if you want to support this channel on Patreon on any level, doesn't matter what, can be the cheapest level, then you'll have a chance to listen to our live recording of it, which will be done the same night as a Tonight in Haddonfield episode. And if you can't afford it and you're not in position to do so, then don't worry, because it's not going to be the type of content that's made just to be exclusive. It's more of like early bird for Patreon. The following week, we will release it as its own video. Now, whether it's on Fandom Empire or somewhere else, I'm not sure. But the episode will be made available to everybody. So that's Real Flicks starting next week, starting with Terminator. Dean, you want to say anything on it?
I love the idea. Love the idea of going back and revisiting old stuff and, a chance to step outside the horror box a little bit. We harp on that a lot here. And as you guys can see, my collection is pretty vast and extensive over here. So I have a lot of stuff from a lot of different genres that, I'm really looking forward to bringing up to, Sean, and hopefully getting into some great discussions about, some classics and maybe some new stuff, some underrated stuff, just so many possibilities and things that we could talk about over there on Real Flicks. So I think it'll be fun. And out of the first 4 Terminator movies that we're going to do, I'm actually looking forward to Salvation, because it'll be a first time watch for me, and we'll get to discuss it here.
Honestly, out of them all, man, Salvation and 3 are honestly the ones I'm looking forward to watching the most. I was on here just last week saying how, even though a lot of people find 3 to be terrible, from what I remember, keeping in mind, I only seen this when it came out in theaters and then maybe 2 other times. I remember even, fond of it, not, I'm in love with it, but like, hey, this is a good film. Yeah.
It's, like I said, it's pretty fun. It gets a little silly, but going back to revisit it, I think you'll have a good time with it.
And then Salvation, obviously. Salvation is huge, because for me, I know I brought this up last week, and you had mentioned you used to go to them as midnight releases. Salvation was one for me. Although it started off, I kid you not, dude, midnight release. So your trailers aren't playing until midnight.
Yeah.
Someone has a baby there.
Oh, God.
A baby there. Yeah.
At midnight.
Midnight release.
Jesus.
Terminator Salvation.
Oh, God.
And my buddy's just like, is are these people for real? Like, are you
Yeah.
fucking kidding me? And they didn't stay even through the trailers. So,
Oh Jesus, that sucks.
that was good that they took off.
Yeah.
But I have fond memories of seeing it.
Mhm.
I know the one criticism people have of it, but there was logistics behind that, right? So, and I don't want to get into it because I don't want to spoil anything
Mhm.
for you, but I remember it being a well shot film and being a fun film to watch.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how much of a war film it really is, based off of what you had mentioned already, and just knowing that mostly the Terminator is these Terminators going after a target and trying to prevent Judgment Day. So I'm kind of curious to see the turn it takes and goes, leans more heavy into a war film than it does, its previous kind of, meaning.
So, keeping in mind, I haven't seen Dark Fate.
Mhm.
For me, it's far and away the most war film there is for
Yeah.
Terminator. It's for. I mean, I guess Dark Fate takes place in the new future or whatever.
Mhm.
But the future that we learned about,
Yeah.
right, that essentially still ends up happening, is Salvation. That's
Okay.
what it was meant to be.
Nice.
So you're in the thick of it, right?
Mhm.
I don't even want to tell you characters that are in it, but there are characters that are in it that you'll know.
Mhm.
So
Oh, good.
maybe not actors, but characters and
Right.
characters. So, yeah, we're looking forward to doing that, and I could see us popping all four of those out, probably back to back to back to back, and then taking a break for a few weeks, and then deciding where to go next. But I'm excited, man. Can't wait to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Same here. And then once we get into the break from that, I'll kind of look and pick through my collection. I'll see if I can throw you some suggestions of stuff maybe you haven't seen. And, we'll hopefully, if it can be found on streaming or you can get a copy of it, we'll be good to go from there.
100%. Yeah, definitely gonna mix it up and have a variety of things. And no, not gonna make Dean watch Star Wars. There's a show on this channel for that. But speaking of, I guess fantasy and comic book genre things, did you get a chance to see the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer from today? And if so, what did you think? In short, I thought it was brilliant marketing, and I hope the movie lives up to the marketing, essentially.
Yeah. I think I saw it about 2, maybe 3 times, a little bit sporadically. I woke up today, kind of threw my TV on, was getting myself up for the day, and then I saw a post on YouTube from Ryan Reynolds, and I'm like, "What is that?" And it was the trailer. So that's another one I was not expecting today. So I threw that on, let that play. It was the Red Band trailer, so it had all the cursing and all the good shit, included in there. It looks like a ton of fun. Yeah, I'm glad they stuck to the premise of a Deadpool movie. Still gonna have that R rating from what I could tell. But it kind of loses me in this whole Marvel multiverse and what's going on and how they're gonna tie things together with previous movies. I've never seen the entire X-Men franchise and anything like that. So I might be a little lost, but I've seen the first 2 Deadpools and they're a lot of fun in my book. So either way, I'm looking forward to checking it out.
I don't think you'll be lost because I
hope not.
I think it's designed in a way that as long as you've seen Deadpool 1 and 2,
Yeah.
you're okay. They
All right.
will explain
Mhm.
what you need to know. And the truth is probably not a whole lot because there's multiverses and
Yeah.
different things, and we don't know which Wolverine this is necessarily, other than it's a Wolverine. And it's an added bonus for those that watch the whole Marvel movies.
Right.
And at one point I was one of those people. I'm definitely not anymore. And I firmly believe you'll be able to watch this movie and you won't miss anything that is vital to the movie and still enjoy it.
Yeah, that's good.
And if not, then they fucked up. So
yeah, right. Yeah, that's good to hear then, because I own the first 2 Deadpools. So I'll definitely catch up on those and go back and give those a rewatch right before Deadpool and Wolverine comes out, so I can be all caught up and in the know and hopefully not miss out on anything.
By the way, we'll be getting to everybody's questions and or comments later in the show. I just wanted to bring this one up now because it was Salvation. So anything anybody wants to talk about, entertainment-wise. Feel free to bring it up. Travis said Salvation's pretty underrated and easily the best sequel after T2 for myself. There's also a strange comic titled Salvation: The Final Battle, released in 2014, which concludes the whole saga as well. I didn't know that. I did not know that was a thing. So that
me either.
Intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
Without further ado, though, let's go do some show. Is it show share and slash or show?
Yeah.
Slash and share. I always forget. Show
Boy.
share and slash with our good buddy Dean. What do we got this week, man? What are you teasing us all with this week?
All right. We are going brand new release. You and I talked about these when they first got announced. Brought them up here on the show. I put in my pre-order pretty early. Didn't know when exactly these were going to ship. Got my email last week. They took about 8 days total to get here. So coming all the way from Australia, from Vivision Entertainment. They have their brand new releases of Halloween 2 and 3. These are Blu-rays, but they did kind of collector's editions, little bit of upgrades. There's a new commentary on both of these, and Halloween 2 has an upgrade. Whoop, this is 2. A new upgraded HD version of the TV cut included in here too. So
sorry to interrupt you here. Judging, you're still plastic there.
Oh yeah,
you are opening these for the first time right now.
Yeah, I saved them. I got these around Friday, so I figured, you know what, let's save them for the show because I have enough copies of these already. But these are limited edition. They're limited to 1,500. I was on the fence. Do I open them? Do I keep them? But what fun would that be, keeping them sealed up on the shelf? Because there's art cards in here, and there's stuff we got to look at. So let's go ahead and dive into these. We'll start with 2. Let's crack these open and see what we got here. So we've got lenticular hard cases on the outside, which is pretty nice. And the Halloween 2 one, in person, it comes off as almost like 3D. It looks like the 2 is jumping like off the box. Oh, cool. And it does pick up the lenticular effect there on the camera. So that's cool. Okay, we got a nice image on the back of the case here with the nurses from the hospital. Very cool there. All right. Nothing else in the box. We have they pack them in like a little bit of an envelope here, so we'll get into those in a minute, and then we'll cover special features. So Halloween 2, they went with Laurie on the front cover. Back cover gives you all your specs and your special features, which I'll read off to you guys. Let's see if the artwork, okay, the artwork is not reversible. Sometimes they do the reversible art where you can switch out this front cover and get rid of the logo right there. They didn't do that this time, but there's a pretty cool image on the inside that we'll get to in a minute. So 2-disc set, Blu-ray 1 and Blu-ray 2. The first one is your main theatrical cut and special features, and then this is your TV cut. Let's cover special features really quick. So we have 1080p high def presentation. Then we have brand new 2024 audio commentary by Dustin McNeil, co-author of Taking Shape, Developing Halloween from Script to Screen for 2024. So that's really cool. Then they brought over some previous audio commentaries here with Rick Rosenthal and Leo Rossi. And then another commentary by Dick Warlock. Those are from 2012. And then you have your typical Nightmare Isn't Over, the Making of Halloween 2 documentary that's been floating around since 2012. And Horror's Hollow Grounds with Sean Clark. It's all the filming locations. That's from 2012 as well. An alternate ending, deleted scenes, theatrical trailer, TV spots, radio spots, and a still gallery. So it's a pretty standard H2 release. You can get all this stuff on a Scream Factory release here in the States if you weren't going to import something like this. And the new inclusion here is these art cards. So I like this little envelope. It's usually just a white band that wraps these. So the envelope's a nice little extra added bonus. I do like that. And then let's take a look at these. These almost look like Polaroids, or not Polaroids, but actual photos. So you've got Jimmy and Laurie, Loomis and Brackett, Ben Tramer meets his demise. That's a great shot of Loomis. So you got a nice shot of Loomis right there. And then it looks like checking on Lori. And then, of course, Bud and Karen. That's a good one. And then we're back to the top with Jimmy and Lori. So you get about 6. That's not a bad inclusion. And that covers Halloween 2.
So before you move on to the next one, I just gotta.
Yeah.
I'm by no means trying to trash it. I'm not trying to do that. But you, as an avid collector and someone who obviously spends his hard-earned money on a lot of this, do you find that the cover selection for the actual Blu-ray case and then the back selection of the two, so that, and then is it the nurses at the back of the
on the back of the hard case? Yeah.
So I'm not. I just want to make it perfectly clear right now. I'm not saying Lori can't be on the cover. I'm not saying you can't have female representation either. But they just seem like really odd choices.
Yeah.
Like it. Dare I say, when you hold that up and you give it like just a quick glance, I'm like, that could be a version of The Shining. Just like it is, right? Like, and it's
could be.
It's it's
they're
weird.
different.
Yeah,
they're different, but I don't mind them because every version of Halloween 2 you see it's either it's this or it's Michael or it's another like really recognizable shot or something from the movie. So I have a number of Halloween 2s over here in my collection. I have the old Scream Factory Steelbook and the newer 4K, and I have an old DVD floating around somewhere. So this is, I don't mind it. It's a little bit different. I don't know how often I'll actually even watch this besides possibly checking out the TV cut in HD for the first time. So I'll always resort to 4K, but being the collector and this rigid box with the lenticular cover, that's to me that's pretty awesome. So just having that, the few art cards, and the packaging and everything.
I like the case cover, obviously. The
Yeah,
too.
that came out awesome. I was curious to see how the lenticular would work, and I give it a thumbs up on that. So I'm happy to have that on the shelf. And I guess we'll head on over to Halloween 3 now. So
love that. I love that they went with the classic case.
Yeah, that's awesome. I thought that might be what they did. I haven't seen how well that lenticular shows up just yet. So we're gonna see how well those kids are walking down that mountainside once we get into this. So let's see here. Let's peel off the J card. Hopefully not rip anything. Ooh, this one's glued on there. There we go. Oh, there's a great shot on the back too. All right, so there's our Halloween 3, and you get the idea a little bit. You can see the kids' bag swinging there a little bit on the lenticular. So that's cool.
It looks good.
Yeah, looks good. Oh yeah, I see the eyes shifting, so that'll work. That's pretty cool. And then you can't go wrong with this on the back. You got Atkins screaming in the phone, so that's pretty awesome. That is awesome. So that is our cover, and I will get into these special features as well. Looks like they ported a lot of stuff over from 2012 also. We have another envelope with more art cards, so we will get to those shortly. Halloween 3 cover is Atkins at the end. I think this is just a single disc release. That's what it feels like. Yep, we've got one disc. Art image on the inside is right there. No reversible art, I don't think. Nope, that's it. And so that's a little more on the basic side, but I love that image of Atkins, and that classic front cover art is great. So actually, you know what? We'll stick to this since it's in my hand. We'll go through special features. We've got a 1080 high def presentation. We have there is a new audio commentary on here. So film critic and historian Lee Gambin, with a special appearance by film director Joe Dante, is a new audio commentary for 2024. And then they ported over the commentary from Tommy Lee Wallace and also by Tom Atkins. Those are two separate ones, both from 2012. And then Standalone, The Making of Halloween 3, another documentary. Horror's Hollow Ground, so revisiting the original shooting locations, again with Sean Clark. All of those are from 2012 as well. And then a still gallery, theatrical trailer, and TV spots. So a little bit lighter on the Halloween 3 release, but still good features nonetheless. And then let's check out our art cards here. So real basic Halloween 3 logo on the envelope that they gave us. And right out of the gate, we've got the kid with the pumpkin. We've got all of them in the factory. We've got them outside the Silver Shamrock factory. And then the trick-or-treaters, that's actually a really awesome shot right there. That looks really good. And then Atkins at the end, I believe. And the makers in the Silver Shamrock factory once again. Oh, it looks like they're putting the chips on the back of the patches for the backs of the masks. And then back at the beginning with the kid getting his head squashed. So, when they bent on me. Well, no big deal. But yeah, that is our Halloween 3 Australia release. Like I mentioned, both of these for Viavision in Australia. Brand new limited releases. Limited to 1,500. I think these are still available from Diabolic DVD here in the US. And I believe Diabolic ships internationally and outside of the US. So if anybody is looking to get these and doesn't want to import from Australia, you can go ahead and get these from Diabolic. And last but not least, that is show and tell for the week with Halloween 2 and 3 from Viavision in Australia.
I honestly got to say, I was skeptical how good the covers would be.
Same.
I think the covers are really fucking good, man.
Yeah, just for the the hard boxes and covers alone, I'm glad that I pulled the trigger on these and went and got them, because that lenticular is quite nice to have.
Is there anything else horror news wise you wanted to discuss, or anything that's caught your attention, or physical media releases that are coming that's caught your, even theatrical releases that has caught your attention before we move on to our predictions?
I have a lot of stuff coming in. I have a lot of pre-orders. May is approaching, so we are upcoming on The Crow very soon, and Killer Clowns is slated for May 14th, but mine are ordered from Scream Factory. And if anybody in the chat knows ordering from Scream Factory, sometimes, and more often than not, they tend to ship out very early. So I could possibly be seeing my Killer Clowns a number of days before the actual street date release. So coming up in the next few weeks, I should have some really good show and tells as far as The Crow, Killer Clowns, and I have to go back and look through all my orders that I have updated and what's going to ship soon. And I should have a lot of stuff coming in for you guys. So yeah, the next few weeks of show and tell are going to be pretty fun.
Good stuff, man. Can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot wait. All right, so let's shift gears here to some Halloween TV series predictions. If anybody has any Halloween TV series predictions that they want to throw out there, no one's going to hold it to you. We're just having some fun here. Put them in the chat. Would love to see them. It can be about anything. It can be about if you think a certain character is going to appear. You can think about, or guess about a storyline even, or which actors or actresses are going to be involved, or the behind the scenes stuff. Who's going to write? Who's going to direct? Who's going to be on the writing team in general? Who else is going to be involved in this thing? Where's it going to be released? All that stuff. Please, if you have any predictions, let us know in the chat, whether it's the live chat or the comment section afterwards. We would love to hear what you all have to say. I'm going to start simple, and some people might not like this number, but just given what I've seen, whether they're smaller projects or bigger projects, even something like the size of House of the Dragon, 8 episodes seems to be becoming the standard.
Okay.
for a lot of things. And so I'm going to start off with, I do believe, I'm not going to guess how long these episodes are going to be. I would hope in that 40 to 60 minute range.
Mhm.
But I'm going to start with, I believe that the Halloween TV series first season will consist of 8 episodes. I know people were putting out there at the beginning that, well, they might do a 6-part miniseries to Halloween 3, which was an awfully specific number to put out there early on. But I'm putting this number out there. I think whatever we get, it'll be 8 episodes. I don't think it's going to be anything too ambitious like 10 or 12 or 13.
Yeah.
I think we have 8 episodes to look forward to. So you're looking at probably 5 to 8 hours of content.
Yeah, I would say that makes sense. Typical streaming series is about 8 to 10 episodes, between 45 to 60 minutes, unless they're doing a like a finale and they extend it to, an hour 20, maybe 90-minute. So I think that's a pretty good prediction. It's right in the ballpark of what we should probably expect. And I can't really see it being any less than that unless they're going to go less episodes but longer episodes, and they kind of extend the runtime, beyond an hour, to fit everything in about six episodes or so. But I would think they probably know that people are going to want to really kind of see how long this can go out for. So I would probably say your 8 to 10 episode range is probably better off.
Give me one of yours.
Yeah, let's see here. Where should I start? I was able to crank out 5. And I guess I'll start here. They mentioned this is going to be some type of creative reset. It's going back to 78. And they might expand on characters that we've known, we've met before, but they haven't really done much with, and they might expand on. So I kind of maybe wanted to throw it out there that we might see some returning actors to reprise some character roles of other characters that weren't expanded on across the rest of the franchise. So once we start getting announcements of creative and then casting, we might get some alumni. We might see some alumni names pop up and get the chance to see some people return to reprise some roles.
Well, that's my next one, so I'll throw it in there now.
Nice.
Halloween alumni. I don't think it's going to be Halloween Kills.
No.
I think people need to be real about their expectations and what they might see. But I mean, if we found out that Aaron Armstrong plays Michael Myers, would anybody be shocked? I wouldn't
Sign
be.
me up.
I wouldn't be.
No.
I will tell you right now, though, what I think is going to happen is I think you're going to have someone new play Michael Myers. I don't think it's going to be Aaron Armstrong. I don't think it's going to be James Jude Courtney. James Jude Courtney specifically would be in position to ask for more money.
Oh yeah.
Just based off of his. I'm not saying like A-list movie star money, but more than what they could get a stunt guy to do.
Yeah.
So when we're talking Halloween alumni, I think your options are limited here with what they go with. So I'll be curious to see what happens. I would keep an eye on Danielle Harris, and I'm not saying that to raise expectations.
Right.
I'm not saying that Jamie Lloyd's coming back. I'm simply saying that I do think if they want to, there's probably going to be an opportunity for Danielle Harris and Scout Taylor Compton to get involved on some level.
Yeah. And that's along the lines of kind of what I was thinking. Whether or not they come back to reprise the roles, or possibly, like I said, way back in the beginning when we thought, okay, let's put some ideas out there for the series. They might bring them back just to throw them in as townsfolk and background characters that we recognize with maybe new names, new characters, but we see them and we know who they are. So that's a possibility as well.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So I guess now it's your second one, because that was my second one.
Yeah. I'll go here. So, especially because I just covered it. I have an idea that they might, since they're going back to the beginning, they're using 78 as this, the foundation for this whole series now. I would hope that they would keep Halloween 2 canon. I would hope the events of Halloween 2 still took place. This way you have more of an incentive to you have a reason for Michael to cause fear throughout the town of Haddonfield. If you erase Halloween 2, you go back to 78 where he only killed a handful of people. And it does raise that question of, okay, a guy in 1978 that only killed about 5 people, how bad is that really all this time later? So I think if you keep Halloween 2 canon, you now have the body count from the hospital as well. So that already sends it up into, I believe it was about 16 people, if I remember correctly, the total. It might be more, but I think it's about 16 that he killed across the entire night of 78 between Halloween 1 and 2. So I think they might keep Halloween 2 canon for that reason alone.
So this was not going to be my next one, but I'm going to move it up on the list. I don't believe they're going to keep any Halloween movie canon.
Interesting.
I believe when they talk about going back to the original, they refer to going back to the DNA of the original, it being about the shape, a guy. And I know people point to Halloween Ends and say the shape and a guy, but it's like, was it? We had the whole, evil transcends and all that shit. And the fact that he got demolished by a massive group of people and then somehow came back and killed them all. And then and then all of a sudden wasn't okay. Don't get me started on that. But the point being is I think they added enough in the Gordon Green trilogy to be able to go, was he really just a guy?
Right.
And I think in this, I think we're going to find out that he is just a guy, a sick and twisted and deranged guy. But yeah, I think we'll go back to the DNA of the original. I don't think they're keeping anything canon. I don't think this is going to be a sequel to the original. I don't think this is going to be anything like that. And if it is, for the love of God, I hope they're doing it differently because I really think my hope is it's a period piece, but I'm not predicting that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, they might vaguely reference, what happened on the night of 1978 in whoever's story that we're following, pending, and it might not even be 1978 even. There's so much wiggle room to play here, especially if it's going to save millions in production costs and stuff like that to screw around with dates. For me, I'm predicting no Halloween movie will be canon in terms of the series.
That's interesting. So that's going to lead me to my next one, which is completely opposite of everything you just said, where I thought they may try and get creative here. And I think maybe almost the entire franchise, or at least certain timelines, they might try to reference or keep canon to try to creatively kind of now tie things in together from across the different timelines and try to make sense of some things. Where, hint, hint, something else we've been talking about. If you're going to utilize somebody to come in on this thing, Daniel Farrens might be a good choice for something like that. So, depending on the creative team and direction they go, I have a feeling that they might, just to keep it familiar for a lot of people, they might try and get creative and tie some things together across different timelines to try to make sense of it, to keep it like really, really focused on Halloween. But we'll see.
My next one is I don't think it'll be an anthology series.
Okay.
As much as I'd be very open to that. If they came out and said we're doing 8 1-hour anthology movies essentially, but episodic series, and maybe one's a Halloween 3 continuation, one's a Halloween 4 continuation, something fresh. I don't know. Just 8 anthology where, maybe only even 3 of them have Michael and the rest don't.
Right.
I'd be open for something like that, but I don't think they're going to do that. I've been beating the drum of you paid for the rights for a reason, and the rights are to use Michael Myers. Not that you wouldn't do that in an anthology series, but I still think he's going to be the driving force behind your show. And which means he's going to be pretty prominently featured, even if you want him in the shadows. He can be in the shadows and still be a central figure to to the show. So,
Mhm.
and I don't think they're gonna. Again, I'm not opposed to your idea of let's try to tie a bunch of things in together.
Mm.
I just think if they've brought on Steph Hutchinson, which remains an if
Right.
Daniel Ferrens ends up getting involved, which to our knowledge to this point has not happened, then I think you're looking at these guys to build a world for you, not
Yeah.
to just play in the world that's already built, but build Haddonfield even,
Yeah.
right? Like build the surrounding areas. You and I talked about early on in the infancy of the show about them making us care about protagonists in a Halloween
Yeah.
series, them giving us characters to invest in. I'll jump the gun here and give you what my last one was going to be. I
Mhm.
think Dr. Loomis is going to be in this. I think
Yeah.
you were going to get someone else cast as Sam Loomis, which is another reason why I firmly think they're going to separate this from the previous movies. Is I think they're going to want Loomis to be his own thing. Not that there can't be any callbacks, but I
Right.
don't think they're going to want people going, well, that guy doesn't look anything like Donald Pleasance, and there's no
Mhm.
fit there or anything like that. But I do think I don't think returning to Laurie is an option, even if someone else is playing her. They've done it too many times. We just went through it again. Not that they can't do it again, because I'm sure they will at some point. But you have a kid. They referenced the Miramax guy referenced, possibly revisiting characters that we haven't focused on in a while. And the big one for me there, unless you count the zombie movies, is Loomis, or at least
Mhm.
some of the Loomis that we knew. So, not saying he's in it, but my big prediction is that he will be. And if he's not the main character, he will be one of the central figures in an ensemble cast.
Yeah. And that's a pretty good point, which actually ties into one of my last two. And to kind of piggyback off that, I have here that Loomis might be included, and we might get references to him, but maybe they'll kind of throw us a curve, and he won't be as prominent because we've had him, from Halloween 1 to basically 6, negating Halloween 3. We've covered Loomis for a while, and then also, Rob Zombie's 1 and 2. So we have had a lot of Loomis, but he is, like you mentioned, he's a very, centric and important character. So I think if you're going to include him, the smart thing to do is to kind of develop on it and, have it be pretty important to the rest of the series. But yeah, I thought that might be something that they might do is include him, but almost go the Halloween Kills route. And, he's there, but maybe not as prominent so that they can focus on other characters, which would be kind of interesting, but I think it would kind of take away a little bit. So I wouldn't say that's a smart choice. And then I'll just throw my final one out here as well, which I don't think would be too surprising, but they may step outside of Haddonfield. They might kind of explore other surrounding areas finally, and give us, Russellville, or maybe introduce a new, town that's close by or something along the lines of that. And, it gives you a new idea of something to explore with Haddonfield, or with Halloween, and kind of finally step outside the box of Haddonfield and expand.
I'll give you one more, a bonus one, and that would be don't rule out the possibility of them just deciding. And I mean, I guess what I already suggested in terms of like no Halloween movie will have existed, I should have emphasized more on. I think they will have the initial events have already happened.
Mhm.
Like Michael had, broken loose at the age of 21 or whatever,
Right.
and, done damage. What year it takes place in, no idea.
Right.
It's the same characters that are involved, no idea.
Mhm.
But that some initial event post killing his sister, even if that's a thing,
Mhm.
will have happened in the new series, and this will be after that. I
Okay.
just don't think they're going to use whatever has already happened. The other one I would throw out there, and when you think about it, this has never been done, is have them remake the original Halloween, or pardon me, retell the original Halloween. I know people are going to be like, well, Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Right.
Rob Zombie's Halloween moved it way up in the timeline. Like I think
Yeah.
Michael kills for the first time in 1978 or something. And then we go into current times. I'm talking a 8-episode series where it doesn't necessarily have to be all the characters we know and love. And if it is, it doesn't have to be the same results for them in the story.
Right.
But I could see them being like, okay, so here's Halloween again, but from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And you go and tell Loomis's perspective. So
Mhm.
instead of seeing the Michael, the POV shot of Michael coming up to the house and going up and killing Judith, you might see something from Loomis's perspective. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it'd be the exact same story, but don't rule out them just retelling that original movie in a longer form with some slightly different results and from a different perspective.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea.
I think there's money in the Loomis character.
Oh,
is
yeah.
what I'm getting at. Like, not to say there's not money left in Laurie. I'm sure there is, but
Mhm.
I think there's still money to be made off the Loomis name.
I mean, it's been, if you want to look at it, it's 2007, 2009 were the last time that we really had him, in Rob Zombie's 1 and 2. But let's go back. Let's kind of forget about that. The last time we had Loomis involved was 1995. So, and that's Donald Pleasance as Loomis. So you have a chance here to step outside the box and, like you said, tell things from his point of view. I think a really cool shot to do in one of the early episodes even is maybe have him observing Michael, whether it be Michael's on the loose and he's trying to track him down, but let's get a POV from Loomis. Let's see what he's seeing. Let's let him watch what's unfolding, and then you can cut back and forth between what he sees and what's going on. And I think that would be kind of an interesting way to kind of play out a scene.
I'm gonna lose my Halloween fan card here, but how's it go? He spent the first 7 years trying to help him, and the next 8 trying to keep him locked up, or something like that.
Yeah.
So what would be an interesting start from that perspective would be show opens. There's Loomis telling them, "Now fuck this kid. Don't let him out.
Yeah.
He's going to kill people.
Right.
Like, he's not human." Deep down, and just to open on like that intense meeting. Obviously, you have to have someone. If you're going to open on something like that, you have to have someone with some acting gravitas playing Loomis. But to just be hooked into like this guy's desperate plea of, you let him out, or if you don't keep him in here,
some bad shit's going to happen.
Earth, basically,
Yeah.
right? Like, so
Right.
I think that'd be a really fun, adult, dramatic way to start something like this.
Yeah.
From that perspective, and then you still mix in the elements of horror that you need too.
Right. Yeah, something like that would it would drive up like the the drama and the intensity of what could result if he gets out. So that's already kind of setting or starting out on like a high note, and you want to kind of maintain that at least for your first few episodes before you kind of tone it down a little bit. But I think that starts things on a high note, and that's going to hook people in to see what happens across the first 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah, and let's not forget that Steph Hutchinson has written a lot of Loomis. A lot. Loomis pops up, and Loomis's offspring pop up in multiple versions of Steph's Halloween work. But there you have it. Halloween TV series predictions from Dean and I. Fun little 20-minute segment to close. I think there's money to be made in the Loomis Man, and I think they're going to go back to that well, and I think they're going to make it. I just hope that they approach it from the right way. I think I've almost talked myself into, give me the Loomis series, or at least give me something heavy from his perspective. I think you just could get into some Seven-like shit with Michael Myers.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to see. That was my my series kind of pitch and prediction of an idea that they should do and explore, is take this detective angle. And if you want to use Loomis for that, this way we get a recognizable character, then I would say go for it. And let's deliver something here.
Absolutely, man. Couldn't agree more. Anyways, that is going to do it for us tonight. Don't forget, you can join us next week, Monday night. Our showtimes are scheduled for around 9, but it's getting darker later here. So the odds of me being able to make 9 o'clock shows are not great at the moment, because it's, take a while to go to bed. And then there's also time with the spouse, etc. But we'll be on as close to 9 as humanly possible when we can. But next week we have Tonight in Haddonfield, and for those that are signed up for our Patreon, pardon me, you can head on over. Sorry, I took a hit and it is burning. You can head on over to patreon.com/Fandom Empire and support what we're doing over there today. It'd be greatly appreciated. And again, available to all tiers. You will have access to our live recording of Real Flicks next week, immediately following Tonight in Haddonfield, and we will be doing our thoughts on the Terminator. Now, don't expect some like two-hour extravaganza. These shows are likely to last anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes or so. And if we have a guest or two on, it might end up getting longer. But if it's just Dean and I, then depending on the movie and the the information, what we thought of it, will depend on the show length. So, stay tuned for that as well. Big thanks to our patrons and to our channel sponsors, guys like Jason, Backtrack Cinema. Love what he does over there. Definitely check him out. Jesse, Storytime Spectacular. Chris, who we got to figure out a time to get him on here and start our Rob Zombie mask that we will be giving away to one of you fine folks here. Big shout out to Ryan, Colleague Nation, and Mr. Matt Whitfield. Without you guys, wouldn't be able to pay the bills around here. Stuff costs money, pardon me. StreamYard, Canva, Phil Moore, it all adds up. And to everybody in the chat, thanks for coming out. Thanks for spending an hour of your Monday evening with us. We'll see you next week. The Terminator. I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get to Salvation.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I love watching a movie with someone knowing that they're seeing the movie or TV episode or whatever for the first time. So I'm looking forward to that.
Likewise. Can't wait.
Take it easy, everybody. Have a great week.